Good afternoon, parents. We appreciate you taking the time to spend this hour with us. My name is Ramya Modakuri, and I'm the Director of Future Pathways at the International Schools Partnership, a global group of 81 schools with 3 schools in India, all of which offer the Cambridge curriculum. I've been a college and career counselor for over 5 years at a Cambridge school, helping A-level students apply to universities in India and abroad, and now lead a team of counselors who do the same. This session is part of a series of webinars to help parents understand the Cambridge system and how it helps students for life beyond school. We kicked off this session in December and have conducted 2 sessions, one called 3 sessions, all of which can be found on the Cambridge website. In today's session, we will go over how Cambridge qualifications can be used for higher education worldwide. We will cover both India and a few popular destinations worldwide and point you towards resources to find out further. Before we start, some housekeeping. There is a Q&A box. Please put all your questions in there. We will try to answer all the common questions, but might not get to all due to time constraints. But we do encourage you again to go to the website, the links of which we will show you at the end, to find out more. Before we begin, we would like to understand what grades your children are in so that we can try to some extent, especially maybe in the Q&A part, to make our answers more relevant to the age groups we have here. So please go to menti.com, use code 31030219 or scan the QR code shown here, and please type in what grades your children are in. It will allow you to put in multiple values in case you have children in multiple of these grades. I hope everyone is able to, I have started the Menti, so I think this will also give us a chance to wait for those parents who may just be logging in. Okay, this is, I think directionally we have a sense. I think the majority of parents, even in the previous webinars we did, have tended to be in grades 9 and 10, and which is not surprising because you are making choices for grade 11 and 12. And so this is a good webinar to attend, hopefully, so that we can answer some of the questions you have. So without further ado, thank you for putting the values in. And it's good for us to know, and we will move on. Okay. So at this point, you're all familiar with the term VUCA, volatile, uncertain, complex, and ambiguous. Not only is the world as a whole changing rapidly due to advancements in technology and other factors, the workplaces are changing even more rapidly across all 3 core dimensions. Who does the work, when and where the work is done, and how the work is done. Automation and AI are changing how we work. Crowdsourcing and gig economy are changing who does the work. Increased connectivity and a post-COVID resetting, along with an increase in Gen Z workers with a different work-life mindset, is changing when and where we work. Given these rapid shifts, according to the World Economic Forum Future of Jobs 2023 report, 44% of the core skills needed for work are expected to change before the turn of the decade. So half of the skills we use today to do our jobs are going to change. What does all this mean for our children? It means that the skills required to be successful in this VUCA world are different from what we think of as core skills to succeed in the world of work. According to the World Economic Forum and other reports from McKinsey and Deloitte, there are a few core skills that regularly feature as top skills of the future. So here you can see the top 5: analytical and creative thinking, resilience and mental flexibility, self-management skills like motivation and self-awareness. And to me, this should be the number 1 skill: curiosity and lifelong learning. Universities also look for similar attributes in their undergraduate students. They want knowledgeable students with good learning habits who are passionate about the discipline they're studying, able to apply their understanding to new questions and contexts. A study conducted by Cambridge Assessment Research Division, interviewing admissions officers and academic tutors from a number of universities in a wide range of subjects, identified 10 generic competency areas shown here on the left. Cambridge conducts and uses studies like these to actively tailor their curriculum to impart these qualities in students, leading to key learner attributes, which are confident, responsible, reflective, innovative, and engaged. Cambridge also works closely with universities to make sure Cambridge qualifications develop the skills and knowledge that students need to succeed at university. And you can see that these attributes are indeed evident in Cambridge students once they head to university. In a survey of higher education admissions tutors at the world's leading universities, 100% of respondents said Cambridge programs give students excellent preparation for university. Look at the skills and attitudes they talk about here: independent and logical thinking, reasoning, communication, all skills that are in our learner attributes and are also fundamental essential skills of the future that we saw earlier. This is the reason why Cambridge qualifications are not just recognized, but highly valued by universities all around the world, including here in India. Before we talk about the recognition of the qualifications in different countries, we would like to take a minute to explain the structure of the qualifications and some of the terminology we will be using in this presentation from this point on. The pyramid on the left shows the Cambridge program structure from primary to advanced level, that is ages 5 to 19. Today's focus will mainly be on the orange and red segments, the ones that say Cambridge Upper Secondary or IGCSE, and Cambridge International AS and A levels. IGCSEs are the qualifications or exams taken at the end of 10th grade, similar to the national board exams for 10th grade here in India. Advanced level qualifications are the equivalent of 12th grade board exams in India. Students have the option to sit the AS level exams, which are half the syllabus for A levels, at the end of 11th grade, or take the entire A level exams at the end of 12th grade. Students typically study 3 to 4 AS level subjects, including English in 11th grade and 3 A levels in 12th grade. Many schools do offer AS level English, which is considered the equivalent of 12th grade English from Indian boards. Cambridge A-level qualifications are accepted worldwide. Advanced level in 3 subjects can meet the undergraduate entry requirements of universities in most countries. Cambridge has a very comprehensive recognition section on their website that you can visit by scanning the QR code. On the site, there are guides and advice for individual countries that are popular destinations like India, US, UK, Australia, etc., as well as a detailed recognitions database search that lists specific details for individual institutions within each country. You can scan the QR code shown here, which will take you directly to the recognitions website. Let us begin with the Cambridge A-level qualifications in India. The Association of Indian Universities recognizes Cambridge A levels as the equivalent of Indian 10+2 qualifications. This being the apex governance body, this means that the qualifications are recognized by all institutions under this umbrella, including central and state universities, private universities, entrance exams like NEET, JEE, CUET, CLAT, NATA, etc. So what does equivalence mean? It means a student has to have passes in 5 IGCSE subjects, including English in 10th grade, plus passes in 3 A-level subjects in 12th grade. While 3 A levels are sufficient for most universities, there are some additional factors to keep in mind. For JEE, we highly recommend having 4 A levels plus 1 language. And for NEET, 3 A levels plus AS English is required. Since Cambridge offers tremendous flexibility in the subjects you can choose for A levels, it is important to understand the requirements for individual universities, degrees, and entrance exams to select the subjects appropriately. The QR code shown here will lead you straight to the page for India recognitions. Okay, if we look at the Indian system of higher education, the entry method can broadly be classified into three categories. Universities that use entrance exams, universities that use mark cutoffs, and new private universities that use a holistic evaluation approach to admissions. Let us take the first category, those that use competitive entrance exams. There are few things to keep in mind with entrance exams and the Cambridge curriculum. As we mentioned, the Cambridge qualifications are accepted without any issues. In terms of preparation, because of the specialized nature of these entrance exams, it is a reality that regardless of the curriculum, most students will need extra support in tackling these exams, regardless of the curriculum. For NEET and JEE, which are the most popular entrance exams, which are aligned with the NCERT, the depth, rigor, and problem-solving capabilities that Cambridge instills in students goes a long way in helping children prepare for these exams. So there is a myth that Cambridge does not prepare students adequately for these entrance exams. I would like to show you an example to refute this. So here's an example from thermal physics to illustrate this. On the left is a question from JEE Mains 2019, and on the right, a very similar question from A-Levels 2018. When we look at A-Levels physics versus the physics needed for JEE Mains, the fundamental concepts covered are the same: classical mechanics, electromagnetism, thermal physics, modern physics. The treatment of concepts in physics are also mostly at the same level. JEE physics has some use of calculus, but usually that gets covered in A-level math. The span of topics is mostly the same. Some differences to note are that ASA level touches on topics like astrophysics, medical physics, etc., which are helpful for those wanting to pursue pure sciences. And there is more weightage on thermal and mechanical properties of matter in JEE, in line with what one needs to pursue engineering. The skills to design and analyze experiments is noticeably better picked up from A-levels, which are essential to succeed after clearing JEE. The skill to understand and arrive at a solution in the shortest time is tested in JEE, while fundamentals are thoroughly tested in AS and A-levels. So JEE is an elimination exam, whereas A-levels are a much more comprehensive qualification exam. The goal for any student is not just cracking an entrance exam, but also to be prepared and be equipped to succeed in university once you do crack that exam and get into university. And the A-levels prepares you really well for that. The third category of universities are the newer private universities that have come up in India in the last decade to 15 years. These universities use a holistic approach to evaluating candidates for admission. They look not only at your grades, but also at your extracurricular activities, leadership traits, and most importantly, at your context. They understand that a first-generation student in an under-resourced school in a rural area getting 80% is a lot more impressive than the same 80% from a student with educated parents attending a well-resourced school in a tier 1 city. In this same vein, these universities have outreach and admissions officers who have taken the time to understand different curricula and have an appreciation for the high rigor offered by the Cambridge curriculum. To acknowledge this, some of them are even fine with the student showing 2 A-levels instead of the standard 3 A-levels, depending on the degree opted for, though we would still recommend that students take 3 A-levels. It is now time to hear from some of our Cambridge alumni studying at different Indian universities.
I can attribute my writing and comprehension skills to Cambridge IGCSE and A-levels. I have learned to analyze and summarize well through my psychology and global perspectives courses. I have learned to write clearly and concisely with focus through English literature, history, and biology.
The Cambridge curriculum encouraged me to question and research various topics on my own.
Something different about university courses when compared to schoolwork is that there's an expectation of a background level of study. Oftentimes, you'll be expected to go back and study and look over and find resources for a topic at home, despite them going over it in class as well. This was something that was made easier for me because this was always encouraged in a Cambridge school. I believe using concepts above your grade was always accepted in Cambridge exams, and teachers always encouraged diving into topics independently.
My advice to Cambridge students who wish to apply for higher education in Indian universities is to think carefully about your A-level subject choices. The Cambridge curriculum offers a lot of flexibility in terms of the subjects one can study.
Another important thing to consider is when you take your exams. Choosing the November exam series the year before you apply or the March series the year you do apply will mean that you have your Cambridge results in hand before the Indian application processes start for college. Most colleges in India don't accept predicted grades. They require the final grades. Liberal arts universities do take the predicted grades.
While evaluating universities, consider factors such as profile of the professors, research opportunities, academic centers, study abroad programs, cultural environment, and the type of clubs and activities that are available on campus. Do seek advice from others before making it a final decision.
Oftentimes, you'll want to reach out to the admissions teams of these universities and explain to them the AS and A-level systems and see if you can proceed with your predicted grades.
Being aware of why you want to study a particular subject and what's your ultimate goal is crucial. This will help you stay focused and choose a university that aligns with your future plan.
A big thanks to both my school and my teachers. Without them, I would not have made it this far. Especially my school counselor. The school also organized some very helpful sessions individually where we would talk about the benefits of one college over the other and how to prepare for interviews.
Our school made us take 2 internships during the course of our schooling. And while those bolstered our resumes, they also gave us real-life experience in the fields that we wanted to pursue.
Starting Standard 9, my school offered weekly workshops on higher education choices. I also had a career guidance counselor at my school whom I could approach anytime.
My teachers offered personalized feedback on application material and encouraged me to refine them as much as possible to make it stronger. They also provided me with insider information on universities I was interested in and what all universities were looking in the applicants.
Studying the Cambridge curriculum has taught me to make connections between concepts throughout disciplines. I've been able to study subjects not only in one stream but across disciplines based off of my own interests, and that has helped me think along many lines. I appreciate that I have learned how to learn with an open mind instead of just amassing information.
I studied at the Cambridge IGCSE curriculum and then the Cambridge A-levels curriculum. Through all these years, I have gained strong confidence in expressing myself.
I have been lucky that the freedom I got in my schooling has continued into my liberal arts university education, and that has made me well placed to take on varied work opportunities throughout my life. I can attribute my
Apologies. Since in these webinars, we do have a lot of students and a lot of parents, asking about the viability of a Cambridge curriculum for studying traditional fields like engineering and medicine in India. The next few testimonials we will be covering will be from students, Cambridge students, who are studying at some of the top Indian universities for engineering and medicine. So we have a video followed by some slides.
I studied English at the AS level and studied physics, chemistry, maths and biology at AS and A levels both. And I really liked the curriculum because of its emphasis on critical thinking and not using rote memorization to answer questions. That really broadened my perspective and has helped me in my studies and my future career. Having a very accommodating school and teachers was indeed a blessing during my preparation. There is definitely some overlap of the syllabus with regard to physics, chemistry and maths when you compare the syllabus for JEE Advanced and for the board exams of Cambridge. But managing both exposed me to two different sides of these subjects, and it was in fact incredibly fun to study them from both of these perspectives. A unique thing about the Cambridge curriculum is you learn to approach a problem from multiple perspectives and not limit yourself to a single way of thinking. And that has really helped me in my future studies. Cambridge A-levels really helped me in developing an even stronger love for logic and reasoning, and beyond that, to not take everything at face value, to question things, and to remember that not everything you see is true, and to keep asking questions and go beyond what you see at face value. So I am currently working as a software engineer and I really enjoy my job, but I also want to continue exploring my passion for science, and so I hope to at some point in the future join a PhD program and pursue a career in research.
So that was a student from IIT Bombay. Here is one from Maulana Azad Medical College at the University of Delhi, who's studying MBBS. And he says, the Cambridge A-level curriculum greatly improved my analytical and critical thinking skills, which were not only essential in excelling in NEET to get into the MBBS course, but are extremely important in the study of medicine itself and are greatly helping me in my study at medical college. Another student who's pursuing BTech in computer science at IIT Delhi says, my experience during the admissions process at IIT was very smooth, though I didn't expect it. I thought there would be a problem during admissions, but I was glad to know that IIT Delhi UG section knew about this curriculum and how the examinations are conducted by this board. Another student, Shankar Narayana, from BTech, who's studying BTech at BITS Pilani, Hyderabad, says electronics topics in A-levels physics intrigued me and made me do further research about the topic and provided confidence to pursue electronics engineering. In the first year of engineering, I realized that A-level statistics is a university level course, literally helping me in positioning against my peers. AS level English is aiding me in understanding tougher concepts in all subjects and to articulate well. And lastly, another student who is studying pure sciences at IISc Bangalore says, despite the differences between Indian and Cambridge syllabi, I was able to obtain a high rank in the KVPY scholarship exam that is heavily based on the Indian curriculum. And this, I believe, is thanks to the strong foundation that A-levels has given me to build upon. So we hope that by hearing some of these alumni speak and by seeing their testimonials, that you are feeling more confident that the A-levels curriculum can be a very, very good curriculum, even if you want to pursue traditional competitive entrance exam based courses like engineering and medicine in India. Again, if you have questions, please put them into the Q&A box. We do have someone who's from Cambridge who's monitoring the box and answering some of the questions, and we'll get to as many of them as we can live as well. We will now move on to the USA. The Cambridge curriculum is recognized by more than 1,000 institutions in the US. A US college degree is typically broken down into credits. In order to graduate, most universities set a requirement for a certain number of credits to be accumulated, and each subject that you study counts towards a certain number of credits. For example, if the graduation requirement is 160 credits, that may be split into 40 credits per year for 4 years. If you take 5 subjects per semester and 2 semesters per year, that breaks down into 4 credits per subject per semester. Many universities offer credits to students for the AS and A-level exams that they have already taken in high school. This means that students from Cambridge will already be entering university with a certain number of credits rather than starting with a blank slate. This allows them to potentially graduate early or to add on a second major without extending the time taken to graduate university. Cambridge's US Higher Ed Advisory Council advises Cambridge on matters of qualification recognition and features officials from some of the best universities in the country, including some of the Ivy Leagues. Here are the deans of some top universities like MIT and Virginia Tech talking about how they view Cambridge students.
My definition of a successful student is someone that becomes very engaged when they're at the university. I think in the Cambridge educational system, the students have learned through lots of mechanisms to work together, to look and analyze at different points of view in different parts of a problem. And I think when we get them, we're very impressed that they're able to put all that together, to be engaged in our campuses and be very successful.
Penn State recognizes the Cambridge qualifications for credit at the university level because we feel that when students have worked in environments, academic environments that are parallel to the university experience, we want to recognize that work and allow them to proceed to the next level at the university.
Students who can think about problems in new ways, have a real sense of creativity about the way they think, and just really dive into their subject matter, and these students really do very, very well. And we find a lot of the students who come from the Cambridge curriculum display those qualities.
My personal definition, and I believe my institution's definition of a successful student, is someone who fully engages with the institution, fully engages with our curriculum, fully engages with the opportunities for research in the city that we're in, which is quite vital, and fully engages in the social aspects of institutions. So it gets so that students come out quite worldly and quite understanding of how to interact in the world that we have today. So we want to see students who will fully engage.
What I find attractive in what I might call the Cambridge approach is that, first of all, there is content, but there is a primary emphasis on the analysis of the content, on putting together content from different disciplines, and maybe most importantly, being expressive about the content, being able to communicate it. Those things all together, in my mind, speak more of the 21st century than the last century.
One of the things we look for is a sense when students have completed their secondary school studies of not just having content, mastery of content, but being able to analyze, being able to look at a text critically, being able to make connections between subjects and among them, being able to write effectively. And one of the things that we notice is that Cambridge students, obviously, who have done well, come with those skill sets, and we value them, and we value them greatly.
Okay. The requirements for applying to an undergraduate program in the US are similar to those of India: 5 IGCSEs and 3 A levels. As mentioned earlier, students can get academic college credits for A levels, sometimes as many as a full year's worth of credits. Since US universities need international students to show English proficiency, the good news for Cambridge students is that IGCSE English is accepted by many universities as satisfying this requirement. This frees up the student from potentially having to take additional tests like the IELTS and TOEFL, which are English proficiency tests. Here is actual wording from the University of Washington, which is one of the top universities in the US and top 10 for computer science, talking about their recognition of Cambridge qualifications and the credits awarded for these. So it says the UW recognizes A-level, AS-level curriculum as a challenging academic program that provides excellent preparation for university study. In general, 15 quarter credits will be granted for A-level exams with a passing grade and 7.5 quarter credits for AS-level exams with a passing grade. A maximum of 45 quarter credits 1 year awarded for A-levels and AS-level exams may be applied towards a UW degree. So you can see that potentially a student with sufficient AS and A-level and good passes in these can actually save up to 1 year of study. And that's 1 year, not just of study, but 1 year of tuition cost as well. Here is a Cambridge alumna from Johns Hopkins University, another top university in the US. So Manya Bajaj, who's pursuing her BSc in biomedical engineering at JHU, says, I was able to exhibit to universities that I went above and beyond to gain extensive knowledge in my field of interest through subjects like additional math and further math. I felt better prepared for university as my Cambridge qualifications covered the content of what is typically taught in introductory level college courses. I received credits equivalent to an academic year's worth of university courses, giving me the flexibility to either graduate early or explore a second major. We now move on to the UK. Since Cambridge qualifications are modeled after the British system, it should not be a surprise to anyone that the qualifications are not only highly regarded by the UK, but also work seamlessly in terms of submitting applications and receiving conditional offers based on 3 A levels. It is considered the equivalent to UK GCSEs and A levels. Again, similar to the US, many universities accept the IGCSE English as proof of English proficiency for international students. And the A levels have a significant advantage in admission tests for universities like Oxford, Cambridge, and special admission tests for medicine and law, as these are aligned with the A level coursework. Again, the qualifications are 5 IGCSEs and 3 A levels. Countries like Canada and Australia follow similar requirements to the ones we have already mentioned. The Cambridge website mentioned in the slide has detailed guides on more popular countries like Singapore, Malaysia, and more. Please do visit the website and go over these guides as they will provide detailed information. This is a glimpse of the website and the various sections. You can go through the country recognition section to explore more of what has been covered today. So there is recognition by country. There's guidance for school and students, and the recognition search database, which we mentioned earlier, where you can type in, there is a drop down and you can select which qualifications, AS, A levels, IGCSE, etc. And you can also select the country, and it will give you a list of many universities within that country, as well as if you look at places like India, it also gives you the requirements for the popular competitive exams like NEET and JEE and so on. Here is the website and the QR codes. So we encourage you to please take a screenshot or go to the website and check out in more detail about studying in different countries with the Cambridge qualifications, and also about the pathways and pretty much everything you would need to know about Cambridge, about the Cambridge curriculum in general.